She was the woman who turned the streets of Los Angeles into a fairy tale. He was the man who believed love could be bought, until he learned it had no price. Their story ended with a kiss, a promise, and a dream. But what happens when the dream grows older, when life moves forward, and when destiny decides the story isn't over yet? It has been more than 3 decades since their first meeting, and the city that once brought them together has changed. The streets are louder, brighter, filled with younger dreamers chasing the same stars that once guided them. The skyline of Los Angeles no longer whispers softly. It roars with ambition, with technology, with an energy that never sleeps. And somewhere within that restless heartbeat of the city, their story waits, untouched, unfinished. She walks with the confidence of a woman who has lived many lives. No longer the girl who once laughed on the corner of Hollywood Boulevard, she has built herself piece by piece into someone the world must take seriously. She has fought for her place in boardrooms, carved her path through doors that were never open for her, and though she wears success like a perfectly tailored suit, there are nights when she still looks out the window and wonders if something is missing, and him, once the charming businessman with every answer, every plan, he has changed too. The boyish grin that disarmed her has given way to the quiet seriousness of a man who has seen victories and losses alike. He built empires, watched them rise and fall, and in every achievement there has been a quiet echo, the sound of laughter he left behind, the warmth of a love he thought would last forever. Time has not been kind, yet it has not been cruel. It has simply tested them, taken them to opposite ends of life's road, only to circle them back toward one another. For fate has a way of remembering what the heart tries to forget. Their return is not simple. It never is. The city does not hand out second chances easily. She does not welcome him back with open arms, and he does not know how to ask for what he lost. But the spark, the quiet fire that once turned a fairy tale into reality has never truly died. It lingers in every stolen glance, in every moment where silence says more than words ever could, and so the story begins again, not with youth, not with naive dreams, but with the weight of time, with the scars of choices, and with the courage to believe that love can survive all of it. The world around them is different. They are different. But somewhere deep down, the truth is the same. Some romances are not written to end. They are written to pause, to wait, and to return when the world is ready to hear them again. This is not the tale of first love. This is the tale of love rediscovered, of broken promises pieced back together, of laughter remembered, and of 2 people daring to believe in magic one more time. For what is more powerful than a love that survives the years? What is more beautiful than 2 souls finding their way back, no matter how far they have wandered? In the city of lights, of endless possibilities, of dreams that come alive and fade. With every sunrise, their paths cross once again. Not as strangers, not as lovers, but as 2 people standing at the edge of a new beginning. And though they do not yet know it, the story the world thought was over is only just turning the page. The reunion does not come with the sweetness of memory. It arrives like a storm. It happens on a night when the city is dressed in diamonds. When the brightest faces of Hollywood gather beneath chandeliers to toast another year of wealth, fame, and fleeting glory. She is there, standing taller than ever, draped in elegance that turns heads yet keeps her untouchable. Her smile is practiced, polite, the kind of smile that hides exhaustion and shields her from the world's curious eyes. She has learned the art of survival, not only in boardrooms but in ballrooms too. And then him. A shadow at first, just another figure in the crowded hall. But when she sees him, time betrays her. The years fall away, the laughter of decades ago echoes inside her mind, and for one sharp breath, she is 23 again. Barefoot in a hotel suite, laughing at the impossibility of the life she had stumbled into. His presence slices through her composure, and she hates it. He has aged, yes, but not in the way most men do. Time has sharpened him, carved lines around his eyes, added weight to his shoulders. He moves slower now, speaks softer, but there is an undeniable power in his silence. His gaze finds her across the ballroom, and in that glance the air between them tightens, as though the universe itself is holding its breath. She turns away first. She cannot let him see the storm he has stirred inside her. She cannot give him that victory. But fate, mischievous as ever, will not allow their story to hide in shadows. The host of the evening, unaware of the quiet war unfolding in her chest, calls her forward, and she walks to the stage. Applause fills the hall, lights wash over her, and she speaks of success, of courage, of breaking barriers. Yet as she speaks, her eyes betray her slipping, just once, toward the man who once changed her life. When the speech ends, and the crowd scatters back into laughter and champagne, she feels it. That familiar presence at her back. She does not need to turn. She knows. His voice, deeper now, older, but still the same in the places that matter, cuts through the noise. You've done well. He says simply, the words should mean nothing. They should roll off her like rain on glass. But instead, they pierce. She turns, slow, her expression sharp, controlled. I didn't do it for you, she answers. A pause. His smile is not the charming one from years ago. It is smaller, sadder. Touched by regret, I know. And with those two words, everything they buried comes rushing back: anger, longing, laughter, heartbreak. For a moment she cannot breathe. She wants to hate him, and maybe part of her still does. But deeper than hate is something more dangerous. The truth that she never stopped caring. The night moves forward. They speak in fragments, like dancers stepping carefully to avoid the fall. Polite questions, guarded answers, silence is heavy enough to crush them both. To anyone watching, they are just two acquaintances making small talk. But beneath the surface, it is war, her pride against his regret, her strength against his persistence, her carefully built life against the ghost of what could have been. When they part, it is not clean. It never could be. She leaves with her chin high, her heart trembling, her mind in chaos. He watches her walk away, his hands clenched at his side, knowing he cannot let her go again. And so the game begins. Not of money and charm this time, but of patience, of proving, of daring to believe that second chances can be earned. The city will not make it easy. She will not make it easy. But deep in the spaces they cannot admit to anyone else, they both know. The story that started with a limousine and a smile is far from over. What follows will not be the fairy tale they once lived. It will be harder, heavier, but perhaps more real, because love, when tested by time, is not soft. It is sharp, demanding, and unforgiving. But if it can survive, it is unbreakable. The days after their unexpected reunion stretch like a silent battlefield. She tells herself it was nothing, an old memory brushing against the edges of her carefully ordered life. She buries herself in meetings, projects, and headlines, trying to lose the echo of his voice. Yet every moment of quiet becomes dangerous. Every time her phone buzzes, she wonders if it's him. Every time the elevator doors open, she half expects to see his face. She hates that part of her, still waits for him, and he does not wait. He knows the truth too well. Chances like these are rare, and time is no longer on their side. Once, he believed everything could be arranged, negotiated, solved with wealth and logic. Now he understands that life is not about control, but about moments seized before they vanish. He decides he cannot simply let her slip away. Their worlds collide again, not by accident this time, but by choice. He appears in her office tower one morning, carrying no bouquet, no rehearsed speech, just himself standing quietly in her doorway. Her staff gasps, whispers ripple through the hall. He is still a man of presence, and people recognize it, but she does not smile. She stares at him with eyes that dare him to explain. You shouldn't be here, she says, her tone as sharp as glass. Maybe, he replies calmly, but I had to see you. Her instinct is to send him away, to remind him that she built her empire without him, that her strength no longer needs his validation. But then he asks the one question she has no defense against. Are you happy? The room goes still. For a heartbeat, the hum of the city outside disappears, and only the silence between them remains. She wants to snap back, to say yes, to prove that her life is whole without him. But the words freeze, and in that pause he sees the truth flicker across her face. She dismisses him, of course. She must. Pride is her armor, and she will not let him pierce it so easily. Yet his question lingers long after he leaves, trailing her through meetings and dinners, haunting her as she stares at her reflection late at night. Happiness, what a dangerous word. She has built everything, achieved more than she ever dreamed, but has she been happy, truly? Or has she only been surviving? Meanwhile, he begins to move carefully, weaving his presence into her world without forcing it. A mutual friend's party, a charity event, a gala opening. He is there, not always at her side, but always close enough that she cannot forget him. He does not chase, but he waits, steady, patient, as if he knows she will come to him when she is ready. The city itself becomes a silent witness to their dance. The same streets where she once laughed freely now watch her walk with measured grace. The same hotels, restaurants, and theaters carry echoes of a past they cannot outrun. And slowly, piece by piece, those memories begin to unravel her defenses. One evening, against her better judgment, she agrees to meet him. No press, no crowd, no champagne, just a quiet dinner in a place tucked away from the world. She sets her rules before sitting down. This doesn't mean anything. This isn't the past. This is just dinner. But rules crumble when hearts remember. The conversation begins stiff, formal, like two strangers testing the waters. Yet as the night deepens, their laughter slips out, uninvited. She remembers the way he once made her feel seen, truly seen, as if no one else in the room mattered. And he remembers the way her joy was a light, a rare, untamed flame that made him question everything he thought he knew about life. For a moment, time bends, the years vanish. They are simply two people sharing a meal, teasing, smiling, daring to let warmth return. But beneath the laughter lies something heavier, waiting to be spoken. Secrets, regrets, the choices they made after they parted, the lives they lived, the people they became. There are truths they have not yet shared, truths that could break everything before it begins again. And in the silence between their words, both of them feel it, the storm gathering on the horizon, because love is never just about two hearts. It is about the past that shapes them, the obstacles that challenge them, and the courage to face what still lies ahead. And though tonight feels like a fragile truce, tomorrow will demand more. Tomorrow will test if they are strong enough to finish the story they once abandoned, and as they part ways at the end of the night, the city lights burning around them, one thought haunts them both. Perhaps second chances do exist, but only if they are brave enough to fight for them. The night of truth arrives without warning. It begins with a headline that spreads like fire, grainy photos of their quiet dinner, a cruel caption that turns history into gossip, old words. Rise again, gold digger, playboy, scandal. The city that once cheered their fairy tale now sharpens its teeth. Her board demands answers, his investors bristle. Strangers on screens judge a love they do not know. She tells herself she is fine, she has weathered worse. But the hurt is real, because this time she is not the same girl who could laugh it off. She has a name to protect, a legacy she built with her own hands. He calls, ready to shield her, ready to take the blame, but she refuses. I don't need saving, she says, calm but shaking. Not from you, not from anyone. The line goes quiet, and for once he does not argue. He understands, the only rescue that matters now is the one they give each other by telling the truth. The truth arrives with another blow. A figure from his past, the partner who helped him rise and watched him fall, reaches out with a smile that hides a knife. The man offers a deal. Walk away from her, and the noise will die. Stay, and he will tear down everything they've rebuilt. He has documents, rumors, half-truths polished into weapons. And mixed in with his threats is a single heavy fact. Years ago, after they parted, he broke a promise. Not to her, but to himself. He returned to the old life, to easy deals and colder rooms, and it cost people trust. It cost him the right to claim he had changed. He goes to her that evening, not with flowers, not with a plan, but with honesty. In a small office above the city, they stand by the window and let the light speak for a while. Then he tells her everything. Not to win her back, but because she deserves to know the man who is asking for a second chance. He does not spare himself. He does not write a softer version. When he finishes, the silence is heavy. She looks at him, eyes steady. You want forgiveness, she says, but I need something else first. I need to know why it should be different now. His answer is simple. Because I am willing to lose what I have to keep what matters. And this time, what matters is not my name, it's you. She wants to believe him. She wants to trust the man who once held her heart like it was a rare, breakable thing. But trust is not a door that opens with a word. It must be earned, step by step, across the same ground where it was once lost. So she draws a line. No secret deals, no half-truths. If we go forward, we do it in daylight, we do it together. The test comes fast. The partner leaks a story hinting she only climbed because he lifted her. The lie stings more than any insult. It steals her work and reduces it to a reflection of his power. She could hide until it passes. She could let the noise fade. Instead, she stands before the press the next morning and tells her own story plain, unpolished, strong. She speaks of hard nights, small starts, closed doors she pushed through, and the choice to build a life that did not depend on anyone's mercy. She does not use his name. She does not need it. The room listens, and when she finishes, the applause is not loud. It is respectful. It is real. He watches from the back, unseen, and feels both pride and shame. Pride for the woman she is. Shame for the years he was not beside her when the battles were hardest. After the conference, he steps forward not to claim her, not to bask in her light, but to face his own storm. He calls a meeting with the same cameras and admits his past failures. He names the partner. He explains the threats. He does not dress it up as strategy. He calls it what it is. Cowardice he will not repeat. Then he does something the old version of himself never would. He walks away from a deal that would have kept him safe, but kept them apart. He chooses the harder road. The backlash is instant. Stocks dip, lawyers circle. Friends advise caution, distance, silence. But a different kind of noise rises to quiet. Messages, open letters, people who still believe a man can change and a woman's work stands on its own. The city, so quick to judge, begins to soften. Not with fairy dust, but with something steadier, respect. Yet the true climax does not happen in front of cameras. It happens on a simple night when rain paints the streets and the world finally leaves them alone. They meet in the old hotel that once held their beginning. Not the same sweet time does not repeat, but a room with the same view of a city that never sleeps. He brings nothing. She brings nothing. They sit on the floor by the window like two kids with their guards down. He asks one question. If, we try again, will you forgive me when I falter? She asks one in return. If we try again, will you stay when I am stronger than you? They look at each other, and something in the air shifts. The love between them is not young anymore. It has edges and scars, but it is also quieter, deeper, more honest. He reaches out, not like a savior, but like a partner. She takes his hand, not like a dreamer, but like a woman who knows the cost of choosing. Outside, the rain slows. In the glass, their reflections blur into one shape. There is no grand rescue, no prince, no princess. There are only two people who have walked through time and come back with the courage to say yes again. The city, which once threatened to swallow them, becomes a witness to a new vow, not happily ever after, but faithfully, day by day. Morning comes with real consequences. They rebuild what was shaken. They set boundaries, share burdens, and forgive in small moments, not speeches. They laugh again, not to forget, but because they remember and still choose joy. And when the world asks if their story is a miracle, they answer lightly, no, it is work, it is trust. It is love that returned not to repeat the past, but to write the future. And somewhere below, on a corner where dreams once began with a smile and a dare, a young girl looks up at the skyline and believes. Not in a perfect fairy tale, but in the kind of romance that learns, changes, and endures. The city keeps roaring, life keeps moving. But the promise stands, even after years, even after storms, some stories find their way back to the light.